Every week someone over 60 comes into my shop, having just signed papers on the wrong vehicle. Not a lemon, not a scam. Just the wrong vehicle for the way their body works now, and the way their budget has to work in retirement. They bought what their nephew recommended. They bought what the commercial made look safe. And now they are sitting across from me with a repair estimate in their hand and a look I have seen 100 times, that quiet mix of frustration and embarrassment. It did not have to go that way. That is exactly why I made this video. Over a decade of turning wrenches has taught me one thing no car lot will ever tell you. The vehicles with the best reputation and the vehicles that are actually best for your life after 60 are not always the same list. Consumer Reports, the IAHS, and doctors who specialize in how the body changes with age all stand behind the vehicles I am about to show you, not because they are flashy, but because they make sense. Stay until number 1. The 2023 Toyota RAV4 XLE has a cabin feature that occupational therapists who work with older drivers call a primary safety consideration, and most dealerships never bring it up once during a test drive. Before we get into it, if you think someone in your family could use this information, hit like right now. That one tap is how this reaches the people who need it most before they walk onto the wrong lot. SUV number 4, 2021 Mazda CX-5 Touring. A 2021 Mazda CX-5 Touring, quieter cabin than most luxury SUVs, physical climate knobs instead of a touchscreen maze, a transmission that will not leave you stranded, is sitting at $24,000 on the used market right now. A comparable 2021 Honda CR-V EX costs $5,000 more for the same features. The gap exists because Mazda does not have 3 generations of American brand loyalty. The engineering is not a compromise. The market just has not caught on yet. Last spring, a woman in her early 70s, recently retired schoolteacher, fixed income, done with repair bills eating into her grocery budget, came in with $22,000 and a son pushing her toward a used Nissan Rogue. She told me she was tired of feeling nervous behind the wheel. Loud cabin, rough ride, parking felt like a guessing game. I told her to look at the 2021 CX-5 Touring. She looked at me like I had recommended a golf cart. Mazda, isn't that for young people? I told her to trust me for one afternoon. She drove a 2021 Touring with 41,000 miles, priced at $22,400, and bought it the same day. 8 months and 9,200 miles later, she called for her first oil change. Total repair cost since purchase. "It is the quietest car I have ever owned," she said. "I can actually hear my audiobooks." That word quiet matters more than most people realize. Mild hearing loss affects 1 in 3 adults over 65. And a loud cabin means more mental fatigue, missed sirens, and strained conversation. The CX-5's noise insulation rivals vehicles costing $15,000 more. When you can hear your environment clearly, you drive more confidently. The Skyactiv G 2.5-liter 4-cylinder is naturally aspirated, no turbocharger to fail at 90,000 miles, and runs on a timing chain, so there is no $600 belt replacement waiting at 60,000 miles. The dual direct import injection prevents the carbon buildup on intake valves that costs owners of straight direct injection competitors thousands down the road. Paired with a traditional 6-speed automatic, not a CVT, meaning the $3,500 CVT replacement that haunts Nissan Rogue owners is simply not part of this vehicle's story. RepairPal puts annual maintenance at $447 versus the compact SUV average of $521. Over 10 years, that difference is real money. Boot up the infotainment and confirm it launches in under 10 seconds. A slow or frozen startup signals a failing head unit, which runs 980 to row 1. On the test drive, do a slow full-lock turn in a parking lot, and listen for clicking from the front axle area. A worn CV axle is $390 to $475, and a useful negotiating point. Before purchase, have a mechanic check the front lower control arm bushings. Collapsed bushings cause highway shimmy and run $310 to $420 per side to fix. Walk away from any CX-5 with front collision history or rust bubbling at the rear wheel wells. If a quiet, refined daily driver with low repair bills is your priority and you do most of your driving in town, this is the value buy on this list. Skip it if you tow anything. The non-turbo Touring caps at 2,000 pounds. The CX-5 wins on refinement. The next vehicle wins on something different, something no amount of money can buy on a vehicle that was not engineered for it from the start. SUV number 3, 2018 Subaru Forester 2.5i Premium. Younger buyers moved away from the Forester's boxy shape and that has pushed the 2018 2.5i Premium down to $16,500, about $5,000 to $6,000 below a comparable 2018 RAV4 XLE. What those buyers are walking away from is the best outward visibility of any SUV in this price range. Those tall windows and thin pillars are not a styling failure. They are the whole point. 2 years back, a man in his late 60s came in, retired civil engineer, asks 3 follow-up questions for every answer I give him. He had $17,000, a failing 2012 Equinox, and one specific complaint. The previous winter, he had backed into another car in a parking garage because he could not see around his own C-pillars. His wife had already chosen a Ford Escape. I told him to look at the 2018 Forester 2.5i Premium. He said, "Subaru, don't those burn oil?" I told him that was the 2014 and 2015 models, fully resolved by 2017. He went home, researched it for 4 days and came back. He bought a 2018 Forester 2.5i Premium with 52,000 miles for $17,020. He texts me every January with his annual repair total. Last January, $214,100, wiper blades and a cabin air filter. The parking garage incident he described is not a skill problem, it is a vehicle design problem. As neck flexibility naturally decreases after 60, your blind spots grow based on how much glass the manufacturer gave you. The Forester gives you more than almost anything else in this segment. It also gets the seat height right, approximately 22 inches, a true neutral entry. Not climbing up, not dropping down. You slide straight across, which matters enormously for anyone managing hip or knee stiffness in the morning. The FB25 2.5-liter boxer engine sits lower in the chassis than a conventional inline engine, which lowers the center of gravity and gives the Forester its planted highway feel. Naturally aspirated. Timing chain. I have seen FB25 engines exceed 240,000 miles on factory internals with nothing but scheduled maintenance. The Lineartronic CVT is more durable than Nissan's or early Honda's, but fluid service every 30,000 miles is non-negotiable. Skip it and you are facing a $3,000 to $3,900 replacement. Stay current, and this transmission is not a liability. RepairPal puts annual maintenance at $632, which reflects the all-wheel drive system's upkeep requirements. Factor that into your budget, honestly. Check oil level and condition after a fully warmed engine. On a healthy 2018, consumption should be under a quart per 3,000 miles. Inspect both sides of the engine where the head meets the block for any white residue or dried coolant. A weeping head gasket runs $1,400 and active seepage is a walkaway. On the test drive, activate EyeSight Lane Keep Assist and Adaptive Cruise. A failed camera runs $490 to $780, and a driver buying this vehicle for visibility reasons needs that system working on day one. Best suited for drivers in colder climates who want genuine all-weather confidence and maximum situational awareness, especially anyone returning to regular driving after a health event. If you are in a warm, dry climate where snow is never a factor, the CX-5 or CR-V gives you more for less money. If this is making sense to you, hit subscribe. I put out videos like this every week, and not one of them is sponsored by a dealership. Now the 2020 Honda CR-V, and I want to start with something Honda did on this specific model year that most salespeople cannot explain, because it has nothing to do with horsepower. It has to do with your back. SUV number 2, 2020 Honda CR-V EX, sits at $22,000 on the used market. Some buyers shy away, assuming they can find more value elsewhere. What they miss is that the CR-V holds its resale value dramatically better than a comparable Nissan or Hyundai. 3 or 4 years from now, when you sell or trade, you lose significantly less money. On a fixed income, the vehicle you lose the least on over time is not always the one with the lowest sticker price today. Last fall, a woman in her mid-70s, recently widowed, moved from a house into a condo, managing her own errands for the first time in decades, came in with her daughter and $24,000 cash. The daughter had already decided on a 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe. I listened to what this woman actually needed: tight parking near her condo, weekly grocery runs, trips across town to grandchildren. I told her to look at the 2020 CR-V EX. She drove a 2020 EX with 38,000 miles for $2,300 and bought it that week. 6 months later, she came back for an oil change and mentioned almost as an aside that she had started using a downtown parking garage she had avoided for 10 years. "The steering is so light," she said. "I feel like I can put it anywhere." The rear doors on the 2020 CR-V open to nearly a full 90 degrees, 30 to 40 degrees wider than most competitors. You walk straight up to the opening, instead of reaching around a partially open door at an awkward angle. For anyone with lower back tightness or shoulder stiffness, completely normal after 60, that difference is felt on every grocery run, not just occasionally. The 1.5-liter turbocharged four-cylinder had a documented oil dilution issue on the 2017 and 2018 models in cold climates. Honda addressed it with revised PCM calibration, and the 2020 mid-cycle refresh resolves it in the vast majority of real-world cases. The one habit that keeps these engines healthy: oil changes every 5,000 miles in colder climates, not stretched to 7,500. Follow that schedule, and I have seen these engines pass 180,000 miles without internal issues. RepairPal puts annual maintenance at $407. Honda Sensing, automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise, road departure mitigation is standard on every 2020 CR-V trim. The IHS awarded it Top Safety Pick Plus, their highest designation. In cold weather states, check the oil for any faint smell of gasoline, a flag worth investigating before purchase. Test Honda Sensing on the highway. Adaptive cruise should track cleanly without phantom braking. A radar sensor recalibration or replacement runs $820–$1,100. Check the rear cargo area for water intrusion. A failing liftgate seal is $95 to $140 to fix, but ignored for years it creates mold and subfloor damage. Walk away from any 2020 CR-V with uneven rear hatch panel gaps, which is the most consistent indicator of an undisclosed rear collision. This is the right vehicle for drivers doing regular daily errands in suburban or urban environments who need something easy on the body to operate day in and day out. If your daily pattern is mostly short cold weather trips under 5 miles, the naturally aspirated engines in the CX-5 or RAV4 are a better match for how you actually drive. Everything on this list is a proven, honest choice, but number 1 is in a different category, and it comes down to a word a customer used 2 years ago that I wrote down and have not forgotten since. Number 1 SUV. 2023 Toyota RAV4 XLE. The RAV4 is not a secret, it is the best-selling SUV in America. So why is it still number 1 here? Because 2023 specifically changed 2 things that matter for drivers over 60. Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 adds nighttime pedestrian detection, daytime cyclist detection, and emergency steering assist, and the IHS documented measurably better real-world crash avoidance over the prior generation. The infotainment display was also upgraded with larger, clearer text, a small detail until you are squinting at a 7-inch screen in afternoon glare. A clean 2023 RAV4 XLE sits at $28,000. The 10-year ownership cost data is why that entry price still makes sense. 2 years ago, a man just past his 72nd birthday came in. Retired postal worker, driven the same 2007 Camry for 16 years, ready to make one final vehicle decision. He had $29,000 cash, 0 tolerance for monthly payments, and one rule: he never wanted to worry about the car. His son had shown him a 2023 Kia Sorento at a better price. I told him without hesitation to look at the 2023 RAV4 XLE. He said, "Aren't those everywhere?" I told him they are everywhere, because they are right. He bought a 2023 RAV4 XLE with 19,000 miles for $29,400. He called 6 weeks ago, not for service, to say he had recommended the same vehicle to his sister-in-law who just turned 68. "I want her to have what I have," he said. "Peace of mind." I wrote that down. That is what this vehicle actually delivers. Here is what I promised at the top of this video. The 2023 RAV4's climate controls use large rubberized knobs with a raised, textured grip surface. Not a touchscreen, not a flat dial. The Arthritis Foundation estimates more than 58 million Americans live with arthritis, the majority over 55. For anyone in that group, a rubberized knob you can feel without looking is the difference between adjusting your temperature safely and taking your eyes off the road to find a virtual button on a glass panel. Occupational therapists list large tactile controls as a primary safety feature. Toyota kept them. Most competitors removed them because screens photograph better in brochures. The A25A FKS 2.5-liter Dynamic Force 4-cylinder is naturally aspirated, runs on a timing chain, and uses Toyota's D4ST dual injection system, both direct and port injection, eliminating the intake valve carbon buildup that becomes a costly problem in straight direct injection competitors. This powertrain went through 5 years of development before production. The prior generation RAV4 2.5-liter exceeded 340,000 miles on factory internals in my own shop experience. Consumer Reports gives the 2023 RAV4 a predicted reliability score of 4 out of 5. The IHS awarded Top Safety Pick Plus. RepairPal puts annual maintenance at $429. When wear items eventually need attention, RAV4 parts are the most available and consistently affordable components in North America. Any mechanic anywhere can service this vehicle without waiting on a parts order. Verify Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 on the test drive. Engage pre-collision braking on a highway on-ramp and confirm it operates without false alerts. A forward-facing camera replacement runs $640 to $980. Check the moonroof drain channels at the front corners. Clogged drains lead to interior water damage that starts invisible and ends at $400 to $700 in headliner repairs. Inspect all 4 tires for even wear, which can reveal alignment or suspension issues worth investigating. Test the powered liftgate 3 times. It should open, close, and auto-stop smoothly. A failing liftgate motor runs $380, and for anyone with shoulder limitations, a liftgate that requires manual force is a daily accessibility problem. Walk away from any 2023 RAV4 with front or rear sensor collision history. Improper radar recalibration after bodywork runs $900 to $1,400 and defeats the entire purpose of TSS 2.5. If you are making one final long-term vehicle decision and you want to stop thinking about your car entirely, this is it. Particularly right for drivers on fixed incomes who need the total ownership math to work over 10 years, not just on the day of purchase. If the price pushes past your budget, do not stretch. The CR-V EX and CX-5 Touring are not fallback options. They are excellent vehicles. Buy within your means and maintain it properly. Here is my final word on these 4. The 2021 Mazda CX-5 Touring is the quiet value play. Premium feel, low repair bills, and a price the market has not caught up to yet. The 2018 Subaru Forester 2.5i Premium is the visibility choice. Nothing in this price range gives you a clearer view of the road around you. The 2020 Honda CR-V EX is the daily driver built for the body, light to operate, and proven at 200,000 miles. The 2023 Toyota RAV4 XLE is the one you buy when you want to stop thinking about your vehicle and start living your life. Before you buy any of these, test drive it the right way. Get in and out multiple times. Make sure it fits your body and your life. If this helped you or someone in your family, hit that like button and subscribe. I make these breakdowns every week. Take care of your SUV, and it will take care of you. I'll see you in the next one.